Hey, Dr. Mason here. I thought I would just check in quick here as we go into week 2 of the spring 2023 semester. And by the next time I see you, you need to get some work done and turned in on the greatest assignment. And so if you hop on over to Blackboard, you can go into our course shell, and under assignments on the bar on the left-hand side, the thing on there right towards the top, it'll say the greatest assignment. And there you can see the different directions. We talked about this in class today, but in a nuts and bolts kind of way, what you got to do is go in and consider something that you know about. So basically, I want you to take something you're already familiar with, that you have good knowledge of. Maybe that's a sport, maybe that's a fine art, maybe that's, I don't know, your favorite food, or maybe it's even a historical topic that you already know about. But I want you to think about it, and turns out everybody knows the history of something, and I want you to use this framework that we're going to be exploring in class. You can see on this sheet, which is also posted below this video and this announcement, if you're looking on Blackboard, and use it to guide kind of your creation of a 1,000-word essay about the greatest anything. So today in class we talked about scope and scale. We talked about narrowing down your argument. So it's one thing to say that Muhammad Ali is the greatest boxer of all time. It's another thing to say he's the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time, which is an easier argument to make. A lot of times we do this. I can think about kind of qualification, and that's one of the types of evidence I want you to bring in, evidence that shows the quality of something, in setting our scope. So if you were going to talk about Michael Jordan being the greatest athlete of all time, it's much easier to qualify that and talk about Michael Jordan as the best basketball player of all time. It's even easier to talk about Michael Jordan as the best basketball player in NBA history, or Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player in the NBA in the 1990s. And all of these qualifiers you put on there are going to make it easier to make your greatest argument. You can also think about scale, and a lot of times that has to do with quantification, especially putting together a time frame. So if you were going to talk about Michael Jordan as the best basketball player, you set a good scope, and then if you even put it in the 1990s, that's setting a scale of time. I also want you to think about quantity and quality when you're bringing in evidence. You need to bring at least 3 sources into this. I don't really care what sources they are in this specific context, but I do want you to think about the evidence you're using to build your credibility in this assignment. Like I said, these are going to be 1,000 words, double space, Times New Roman size 12 font. You can again get all of these directions in Blackboard under assignments. What you need to do is right before we meet for class, next week for the first time, I need you to go in, and you'll see that where it says the greatest assignment, if you click on that, it'll give you due date, it'll give you points possible and a rubric, and then if you go down, you can attach your submission by browsing local files, and you can submit the document at the bottom by clicking submit. So once you do that, it'll give you a good opportunity to get your work in, and you can continue to start the class on the right foot. So as you develop your analysis, aside from the 3 sources and framing your argument appropriately, I also want you to think about our aspects of historical thinking. And so you can see these on this sheet. You can also see it in the PowerPoint that I used in class. It is also attached below this announcement on Blackboard. And you could go through and get those definitions. So whether you were with us, whether you were with us and not paying attention, or whether you had to be traveling for something else, you had something else going on, you can still look at this and get a good idea by going through and figuring out kind of what kind of continuities and changes you want to identify, what kind of historical agents we have, both in terms of groups and individuals, how those agents would see the continuities and changes you're looking at as progress or decline. And we talked about all that stuff in class, and for this assignment, keep the main thing the main thing. I want you to be trying to take something you know about and then applying these skills. So if I were writing this assignment, I would be going out of my way to talk about continuities and changes, or progress and decline, or evaluating evidence in different ways. What I want you to see, or what I want to see when I go to grade these assignments, is that you're taking something you know and applying the skills we're going to be using in this class to that thing, to kind of start to get your wheels turning about how this historical thinking framework is going to work. Aside from that, make sure you're checking out that PowerPoint, get those definitions, do those kind of things. And then if you do have other questions, make sure you're reaching out. My email is kevin.mason@waldorf.edu. Otherwise, I'll see you in class next week with this assignment completed.